right, this is Mark Adams with another edition of the Extra Point Podcast, and I'm joined by newly minted Taylor County Bulldog head football coach, Coach Jesse Braswell. Coach, thank you for joining us today. Coach, you mentioned it was a whirlwind in the transition, but just go ahead and talk to me about what it's been like, especially for you and your family. I know you mentioned your wife was a nurse on the front line. Shout out to the nurses. Doing their thing and holding it down. I have a newly found respect, have some sick family members, but definitely have a new found respect for all nurses everywhere. But yeah, talk to me about what it's been like for you and your family coming back down to Perry, Florida.
Yeah, well, Mark, first, thanks for having me on your show. I followed you guys for a long time. I remember when, you guys first kicked it off the ground, and to see where it is now, it's awesome. And so thank you for doing that, for our kids. I think anything for them, I think is the most important. So I'd be, dismissed if I didn't say thank you for that. And so, yeah, man. So coming down here, my wife had to finish her 4 weeks up at Gainesville Hospital, and up in Gainesville, Georgia, or I say it's not Gainesville Hospital, but it's in Gainesville, Georgia. It's Northeast Hospital. And so she had 4 weeks to kind of, after I accepted the job, it kind of came down to me, and we knew that it was a possibility, but the day I accepted it, she turned in a 4-week resignation. And so I was right on the job, right down to Perry. And so I was bouncing around with friends and family and just different people staying in their houses. And man, it was tough. She was up there. I was down here, new job, new environment, new place, obviously unsettled. But I jumped right in, man. I told our kids, I met with our kids day one. I didn't tell them, I didn't ask them to trust me. I just asked them to give me a chance, just give me a chance to gain their trust. And so, we kicked it off day one and February 1st in the weight room. I had to get some of them moved back in the weight room, but, we had about 25 that we could get moved in there with different schedules and different things. And so day one, we had 6 come after school. So we had 31 day one. I'm proud to say, we're averaging somewhere around 52 to 55 right now. We got, just depending on the day. And so I'm really excited about where our numbers are, man. Kids are the same. They're the same. Everybody talks about how different they are. And yes, they're different because technology and different things that they're interested in, but they still want to be a part of something. Especially if it's something that they can see a vision. And so that's my job, is to give them a vision. And to provide something that they want to do. And so I'm excited about that part. Our kids have responded unbelievably well. We're feeding them at my booster club, and people in the communities making between 50 and 100 peanut butter and jellies every day. And we're giving them chocolate milks, and we're giving them shirts, and we're, man, just the excitement around Perry is, you can feel it a little bit. And so, that excites me. I was here in 2011 or 2010, the football season. I was a 2011 grad, and I got to play with some unbelievable players, man. That year we went 11-1. Mm-hmm. Got beat here against Pensacola Catholic 14-7. And so
I remember that game.
Yeah.
There was so much coming into this, because for people that don't understand, when you're in a small town like that and you go 10-0 or you go 11-1, the whole place just comes alive. It's electric.
Oh yeah. Man, I remember, and I spoke at the Chamber of Commerce last week, and I reminded them that in 2010, man, in October, you drove down Main Street, Perry, and there was Bulldog stuff, and people cheered. It'd be 10 o'clock on a Wednesday morning. There'd be people in Bulldog stuff walking down the street. And so, that can happen. And so, I'm not saying it's going to happen overnight. We don't live in a Chick-fil-A world, man. It's going to be a slow cooker world. And so I understand that. As much as I want to come in here and say, yeah, we're going to try, we're going to try to make it happen overnight, but we all know good things don't just happen. And so, it takes the work. And so that's what I've tried to, you ask our kids what it means to be a dog. And so I'm hoping that when they get to go out and they come up to y'all's event or something different, you say, hey, what does it mean to be a dog? I hope they can tell you the 4 things that it means. And for us, it's number 1 is discipline. And I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but man, I just think the discipline life's a gratifying life. And so It's tough to you can't walk the walk. You can't talk the talk without walking the walk, man. And that's everything you do. And that's going to be a little bit of a culture shock, for our kids. And, and I'm not the guy who comes in here and throws things at people and yells and screams, man. There's just a standard that we're going to abide by. And it is, and I joke with them that it is what it is. Urban Meyer, which there's actually his book right there. He talks about the line, above the line or below the line. And that's just their way of saying the standard. You're either above the line or you're below the line. There's it's not a gray area when it comes to being disciplined. And discipline can roll over to a lot of areas in your life. The second is aggression. And a lot of people go like aggression, which, and I'm more or less talking about being aggressive in the things you want in your life. You and I both know that ain't nothing ever given, man. It wasn't easy for y'all to start 4Quartersonline, man. It took some aggressiveness. It just took going and getting it, and if you want something, you got to go get it. And so it takes being aggressive. And that does fall over. And yes, we're going to talk about being aggressive on defense and aggressive on fourth down and aggressive in our play calling. But I'm talking a lot more than that. I want to be aggressive. If you want to be an engineer, man, go get it. You can't sit back and wait. Or if you want a certain job, go get it. If you got a standard that you want to live by, go get it. This world's full of potential. It's just waiting on people to jump. And so the third act, the third in Dawg, DAWG is the work. Work's work. And it's not easy. I wish it was. It goes back to being you want to be aggressive towards something. It takes the work. And so for us as a football team, we can sit around and hope that everybody else isn't working in April, but we'd be living in a false world. We got to go get it each and every day. And the kids have responded in an unbelievable fashion. I talked about numbers a little bit ago. But they have, man. They want to work. They want to be about it. They're ready. And so that's something that they super do. I mean, they have embraced that. And so, and then the G in Dawg is for grit. I think that's what this town is built on. You just go through GP closing, hurricanes, just things, man. And it bounces back every single time. And so this place is a gritty place. And so that's what we stand for, man. And that's who we're going to be. Those four things is kind of who we are. Moving forward, we got our first install coming up April 18th, which really is just practice and practice. Our kids don't understand probably how I want to do practice. And so we're going to go out there, no ball or anything that would be against FHSA rules, but we're just going to get them out there and get them to see the clock and how we're going to maneuver, where the wide receivers are going to be on the field, right, where the D-line is going to do their individuals, things like that. We're going to feed them. We're going to feed them at the end, and we're going to come back and get us a little workout in. And then April 25th, we're going to rerun the same thing. In hopes that by April 29th, we got a good idea that when period one hits, we're going to specialty, and the kickers and the punters know where they're going to go, and the punt returners know where they're going to go. And if you're not a part of any of that, you're going with the O-line coach on the other part of the field. And so I think that's super duper important is to make sure that we know where we're going and put them in position to succeed. And so, and then we get here April 29th, man, I think everybody's ready. I'm certainly ready. I'm also our county athletic director, so I've been wearing that hat since I've got here, which is my job is to be our athletic director. So I joke with people that I got to put my football coach hat on here this week, and this is a part of that. So I put my football coach hat on from 2 to 4 when we're in the weight room, and pretty much outside of that, we got baseball, softball, track, we're rolling, tennis. We got a bunch of things, but I want to make this place, when people ask me why, and so I was at a 7A school up in Georgia with Coach Kraft, and they hadn't made the playoffs since, and this is public, so I can't, please don't quote me on this, but I think it was 2009, the last time they had made the playoffs. Coach Kraft took over up there in 2016. We made the playoffs my first year in 2019, and then proceeded to make 4 out of the next 5 years, made the playoffs, hosted 3 of those games, got to play teams from all over, man. We played Archer, and we played McEachern, and we played Brookwood, and
some big boys on there.
Yeah. And during team camps, we hosted Buford and North Gwinnett, and I tell our kids, man, Travis Hunter, all those cats, man. KJ Bolden, they've all been on our field in the past 2 years. And just so you've got to watch how those kids, how they carry themselves and how they, they ain't good athletes. So been around some great players, but the why behind, I don't want to just come here to change a kid or a school or a team. I got a passion for this community, and I want to change a community. I know that's a lot. I get it. People probably are going to doubt that, but that's what I'm shooting for. And so I understand I'm aggressive. I believe in being a dog, right? And so I got some dog in me, and so I got some aggression towards me, and I understand it takes the work. And so, but that's my hope, is to get it back to that feel of 2010 to 2011. And so our kids are fired up, man. I'm ready to hit the grass. They're ready to hit the grass. April 29th can't get here fast enough.
Oh, yeah. We got that circled on our calendar, too, April 29th. More about just and really just this speaks to like a little known fact. A lot of, there was a tweet came out just the other day where, coach was like, if you don't have this person on your staff and you don't have a person doing this on your staff, and it's like a lot of people forget in smaller areas, the head coach is oftentimes the AD.
Yeah.
And you're doing so many different jobs for other sports where, really you're trying to make sure everybody gets their own kind of little stage, as it were, baseball team, softball team, track and field, and so on and so forth. How is that really? You talked about putting on your football head coach hat. How does that work in between, staying organized and also making sure that, football, everybody knows from a financial standpoint, when football does well, every other sport benefits, just simply because of the attention and the money that it could bring in from a successful season. What are the inner workings of that like? I'm sure you got probably an Excel spreadsheet somewhere where you're trying to stay super organized.
Yeah, I have to credit Robert Kraft, man. He's made as big of an impact on my coaching life as I could ever imagine. You talking about organized, ready to go. I mean, he is unbelievable, and he taught me how to be a coach. Shane Boggs and Steve Price are two of my biggest mentors. I only got to work with Shane for a year. Steve really let me kind of do my own thing, which was awesome.
You got a good list, man.
Yeah, I was a 22-year-old defensive coordinator at NFC that thought he knew it all, and really I didn't know much of anything. And so, but working for Robert, man, he taught me, the use of Google Drive and the use of, just all these things just to keep you organized. And so I'm a checklist guy, man. It just takes, you understand what you got coming in here. And so being the athletic director is my day job. That is what I was hired to do, along with being, so I'm not a teacher. I'm an administrator. And so that is what I was hired to do. And so really when I came in here, I wanted people to know that, like, I'm not just here for football. I'm here. It goes back to not just changing a kid or a school or, a team. I'm here to change a community. And so, you can't just talk the talk, man. You got to be about it. And so it's tough. Right. There's a lot of long nights that I got to stay up here and put my head coach hat on from 6 to 9 or whatever. And my wife's mad, not mad. She'd be mad at me if I said that. She's like, "Where the heck are you?" I went 4 weeks without seeing you, and now you're up there till 9. But no, it's organization. So we've already got our practice schedules done. We've already got, our 2 coaches meetings planned. I already got spreadsheets for coaches assignments and where they're going to be on the field. And it just takes organization. Organization is the key. And so I was very, very unorganized when I went to North Forsyth, and not that Steve didn't do a great job. Steve just literally let me do my own thing, and it worked out, right? I mean, we were fortunate enough to win a state championship in 2018. So I'm not saying that was the wrong way. I'm just saying I couldn't do what I'm currently doing with the organizational skills that I had. But man, Robert taught me a whole bunch, and I can't say enough praise about him and the help that he's done. And he's, one of the 3 reasons why I'm here today. And so it's hard. It's hard to do. It's not easy because you do have to balance it. And I joke with people, they're not going to fire me because I'm a bad AD, but they will fire me if I'm a bad football coach. So you got to keep that in perspective.
Yeah, there's a lot of weight that comes with it because you, at the end of the day, you got to win, and everybody's trying to get to that finish line and build a program and build chemistry and do all of these things with the kids and help them get to the next level, and the list goes on and on. Talk to me just a little bit about it, because you do something I really I really appreciate. You grab the horns on social media right away, and you start immediately pumping the program. And it can be hard sometimes. Social media. For me, after about an hour or two, I'm drained. So many different voices talking. I got this DM over here. I'm tabbing back over to Instagram. I'm flipping back over to Twitter. Who said this? Let me respond to this person. And, just right away, I can see where you just breathe life into that digital platform that really is now the face of a lot of schools. You're going to have to find out information about the schedule, a certain particular kid. What time is the game? You got to go to Twitter. You got to go to Instagram. And honestly, looking at how much it can really help or benefit your program. What are some of your approaches, and how do you get your kids not to do the dumb stuff on social media as well while trying to manage the team's platform?
Yeah, so I learned at a young age with getting a kid recruited, and I was actually, Robert was at NFC. I was an assistant. He got a call. It was the early December. Kid had been committed to a school for since the summer. Said, "Coach, we're not going to take your guy." And this was really before the portal. I mean, this was 2014 or 15, somewhere around there. Don't quote me, but we're not going to take your kid. And we're talking about, like, there was no early signing day at the time, so we're 2 months away from signing day. And we're like, whoa, what? And really it's Robert, not me. He tells the story, but what are you talking about? And he said, well, go look at his likes on Twitter. You can look at everybody's likes. And so we're not going to have that in our program. We're pulling his offer. And so that hit me hard as a young coach. That stuff matters. And so I've always known from a young age, even like Facebook was a thing when I was in high school. They didn't have Twitter or Instagram yet. No Snapchat. And so I even knew back then, man, what you're putting on social media stays there forever. It stays there forever. And so to answer your question about our kids, when I got here and kids started following me, I went to their likes and I scrolled through them and I just went up to them and I said, look, this is what I'm seeing. Is this who you are? And it hit them. It hit them like a ton of bricks. That, holy cow, man, coach can see that. Who else can see that? And so it's going to happen, man. Nobody's perfect, but you try to just stay ahead of it. Inform your kids what people can see. I think communication wins all. And so tell your kids what you're seeing and that other coaches can see. And they'll do right, man. They want to do right. They just, a lot of times they don't know what's right. And so informing them. And then as far as the football team, and the athletic program as a whole, man, I think we live in a world where if you're not pushing social media, you are behind the eight ball. And so it's got to be a big part of who we are. I'll admit that it's not a strength of mine. Thank you for saying that. It makes me happy because I'm not the guy I'm not a very creative, artistic person. I care about ball. I care about kids. And so the rest of it, like I've never been able to play an instrument. I can't draw a lick. I can't draw a stick man if you pay me $100. But, but it does, you have to make it a priority. I hear coaches sometimes say, oh, we're not going to do that. And I think you're doing your kids a disservice. If you can get one kid recruited by putting out that he was lifter of the week and that changes a coach's mind, like, man, that matters, like that is why are we doing what we're doing? It's for our kids. And so if it benefits them in any way, you have to make it a priority. And so we just opened our Facebook page. I'm learning that Perry's more of a Facebook community than it is a Twitter community. And so I got that rolling a little bit. And so my hope is to pass that on to a coach and that be his baby. Him be our social media coordinator. But right now I understand how big of a deal it is. And it's got to come from the head man. And it's just it goes on your checklist of things to do.
Yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. I have worked alongside some organizations, some schools, and I've seen teams of people running behind just trying to capture content and really do right by social media content. There's a lot that goes into it. But it definitely I think for the kids, it has a huge momentum swing when you're doing it the right way. Somebody can look at your stuff and see that you're quality character just by who you associate with, and it's very loud on social media. So I think that's really stellar that you're addressing that with your team and getting them to understand the importance of that. But speaking about those guys, Coach, go ahead and drop some names for me. Who should we be excited about, or who should we be looking at going through the spring, or what side of the ball are you most hyped up about as we get into some spring football?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to start with saying I haven't, besides watching last year's film, obviously, I haven't seen them move besides speed training. We haven't put a ball in the air. So I want to start by saying, like everybody's on the same level. We get to go out there, fresh slate, new coaches, a whole new coaching staff. Everybody's got an opportunity. However, we got some kids that has had some offers. Nyan Simmons is the first one that comes to mind. He played at Leon last year. He's a Perry guy, but excited to have him back. He's got a few offers that are out there. A few seniors that are coming up, DJ McCoy, Baby Jackson, Zachary Jackson is his real name, King Williams. There's a bunch of them, man. I'm going to leave somebody off, but Smiley, Slade Callschmidt. We got some big fellas coming back, man. I'm excited about the group that we have. I've kept a distance from Perry, but I've kept up with this place since I've left, just because I graduated from here and it matters to me. But this group was really, really good. Now we got some kids that are at some different places, which is fine. I want kids to go, and if they feel like they have an opportunity that's better, I'm rooting for them, man. Because I want, at the end of the day, you can't talk the talk about you want to be here for kids, and if they think there's an opportunity somewhere, go for it. I mean, the same goes for coaches, right? And so I took this job and left behind 120 Raiders that I care about and love. But I thought this opportunity was something that I needed to help a place that I love. And so, but man, we got a senior class that really is. They got some exciting players and some production that's coming back. Ryan Hamilton, our quarterback, he threw for over 1,000 yards last year. And so, there's a list of guys that, and I'm sure I'm leaving somebody off that after, and I watch this, I go, man, how did I leave him off? But we got some newcomers that's never played football before. That was on the basketball court that's coming out that I'm super excited about. They send me videos of themselves out at the rec park playing 7-on-7 and different stuff. And they're exciting. They're exciting. And so big old long played wing on the basketball team, 6'3", 6'4", that it's exciting times coming for them. And so it makes me smile from ear to ear, man, just for them to send me those videos. And so Jock Price is one of them. He's a new player and never played football. Well, he played in the Eagles or the youth program here in Perry, but hasn't played since. And so he's fired up about it. We got some linemen coming back that we're excited about too. So a really young group of linemen. Our young group, we got a freshman group of linemen that in a couple of years are going to be special. And so we all know Perry's always going to have the athletes. We're never going to struggle with athletes. And so to me, and with all due respect to NFC, at times we would struggle on the line of scrimmage too. I was there for 6 years, so I feel like I can say that we would struggle.
That actually is one of that's an underrated rivalry in my opinion. Because the schools have played each other frequently throughout the years, and I think it just doesn't get enough attention. Yeah.
Well, I'm excited. Mike Posey is a friend of mine. He does an unbelievable job. And NFC, is a great tradition. Their athletics is unbelievable. I'm excited. Our schedule is going to come out later today or tomorrow morning. I'm refining some stuff to put on social media, because once it's out there, it's out there. And so I want to make sure it's right. But they'll be on it, and I'm excited. They just hired a new coach, and NFC is a machine, man. I joke with people the difference between a place like North Forsyth. I won't even use Perry for example, but DeAndre McCray as a 7th grader is watching people like Jay Harrison and Mike Scott and Lynn Strange. He's watching them work out and how they go about their business. So all he ever knows is that work. And so that's what makes that place special. And so Here we just got to we got to build that, and so it'll take time. You can't eat an elephant in a day, but back to the original question, I'm excited about our team and what they are. They're hungry. They don't know what they don't know, and so that's a good thing for me. We're really starting fresh, and there's gonna be hard days ahead, right? I wish I could say it's gonna fly like an eagle throughout the spring, and there's gonna be no tough days, but I know what it's gonna be. I get it, and so, but I'm excited to give them an opportunity to display their talents, and hopefully provide a platform for them to succeed in any way that they want.
Yeah, definitely, Coach. You've done you've done a lot in the past few weeks just to get the program galvanized again, and really just for yourself personally, you've done really kind of I wouldn't call it a bold move. I think it's a very purpose-driven move, realizing that you're from the area and it means something to you. But when we talk about just coaches migrating across state lines, going in the opposite direction of the way that you came, you went from Georgia down to Florida, and we've seen this mass exodus recently of coaches leaving. What do you hope that, and really I've often told people, because I live in Georgia, but I still cover quite a bit of Florida football. I just kind of tell people, you just see things in Florida just among the athleticism with the kids. It's just unparalleled. And I go to other states and I just try to tell people, yeah, y'all have decent football, but it's not this. Yeah. And I think everybody can appreciate that. But what are some of the things you feel like are I guess, getting your opinions on what are some of the things you're hopeful for as far as, balancing some of the things out for coaches, especially in the payment department in the future? Do you look at, just kind of the next 5 or 6 years and go, man, if we could get, maybe this supplement or maybe this domino were to fall, it would be great environment for coaches, because we know the talent is there, but man, it's really hard to sustain it when leadership is always in flux.
Yeah, so I'll start with saying I came here for a reason that was beyond that, and I'm very fortunate to get paid as an administrator, and I have that. It goes back to those multiple hats. It's not just I'm getting paid to do another job. That's why I take that job so serious. But I think there's a huge issue in the state of Florida. I'm very passionate about our kids in the state because I grew up here. I graduated from here, getting good coaching. Man, you go up there where I was at, and I joke with people, but like, man, if you don't have every I dotted and every T crossed in that metro Atlanta area, and I'm sure it's the same in the South Georgia, I've just never coached there, you're going to get out coached. And I promise you. And so I'm excited to come back and see what, coach with the coaches in Florida and try to help in any way that I can. But there's a big issue here, and it's not just the coaches' pay, but it's facilities too, I coached 5 years in the state of Georgia, and I played on one grass field. That grass field was at Gainesville High School, which I would argue is probably the best grass field in the state of Georgia, along with and Athens too. I would put it up there with them. I mean, it's unbelievable.
I like turf, but I'm partial to grass.
So there's no doubt.
It feels better, looks better.
Yeah. It's just, as a community, man, turf, you can do so much, and the upkeep, it just takes a lot of stress off of a lot of people. And turf has gotten so much better now that I'm a big fan of it. I was like you for a long time. The new turf that they've come out with, it's a lot softer. And they even got the pellets that repel sun, that don't make it as hot. And so they've done, turf's really the technology in turf has improved a lot to make it to where it's not nearly as bad as probably what it was 10 or 15 years ago. And so, but back to your question, man, I don't know the answer. I think a lot of people have problems with what's going on. I'm not that guy to say, yeah, we got this problem and this problem without a solution. I don't know the solution. I don't know if there's just, I could, go from top to bottom on. For me, I every bit of something that I'm raising here or doing for this place is going to be for our kids. And so I think people compensate maybe through their booster club to try to help coaches out. That, for us, it's going to be pouring back. We need facilities, man. Our kids deserve better than what we currently have. And so for me, and I'm probably going to I'll be the outcast here, but I came back here to try to provide for a place. I have no kids, and so I get it, right, man. Coaches pour a lot of time. It goes back to me saying I was here at 9 o'clock the other day. Like, I get everybody's opinion. However, if you're in it for the right reasons, sometimes you just got to make some sacrifices. And so I wish that we could pay coaches more. Maybe that comes through taxing our communities more. I don't know. I would love that. It needs to happen. Our coaches absolutely need to be paid more. Our teachers need to be paid more. That's something that's not really talked about as much but like in the state of Georgia, man, like, it was about, the teaching pay from, and I won't even use Perry, but I looked up Leon County, and the county that I come from is 10,000 plus. And so and that's a big deal. And so, that everyone talks about coaches, and I get it. We put in a bunch of hours, but teachers are the same. They're not the same as many hours probably, but they're the same as they should get paid more too. And so I think we got a huge problem. Everybody understands we do, but nobody really comes with many solutions. So maybe that's something to be talked about, during session up at the Capitol, right? I know it already has been. I'm kind of been out of the loop. I've seen the coalition and some different things on Twitter. I know there's a lot of people pushing for it, and I'll get in there with them. But I'm not going to get in there with them until I think I have a solution to the problem. And so everybody in life comes to you and probably to you and to me with all these problems with no solutions. And so I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I do know that it needs to get better. I think Georgia's just done it right for a long time. And so you're seeing those fruits of the labor. And but at the end of the day, man, there's kids here who deserve the exact same. And so that's the reason I'm here. Wherever, I'm a man of faith, and I believe I'm in the right spot. I took my wife going, what the heck are we doing? Because she took a big old pay cut too to come to the hospital. So that's, I hope I haven't, made anyone mad or anything. It is what it is. We got to find solutions other than just, we have this problem. I get it. I get it, man. It needs to be better, but we don't. How do we fix it? And so I think it'll happen over time. I do think it'll happen over time. I just, I don't know how. I just don't know how. I do know that I just encourage any coach who may be listening to this, man, you're there for a reason. Be really good where your feet are. Everyone thinks that private schools pay all this much, and they do what they can. I took a big old pay raise going to the state of Georgia. I took a cut coming here, and I just encourage you to be comfortable where your feet are. Understand your reasons why. Why are you there? If you're there for the pay, I encourage you to go be a sales rep or something else. Get out of coaching, because if you're in coaching for the pay, then you're in the wrong profession. Go do something else, and be comfortable where your feet are. Know your reasons why. If your reasons why isn't for those kids walking the halls, then you're probably in it for the wrong reasons. And be there for them. And if you can do that, I really do believe that there's other things in life that'll pay you back. And so that's where I'm at personally. And I get it. I'm not happy with the pay. I'm not happier with how I have to pay my coaches. I just went through hiring a bunch of coaches and having to tell them, hey, this is what you're going to make. Sorry. But I feel like they're in it for the right reasons too. And I have those discussions with my coaches about, if we're not here for this, and this, which is for our kids, our community, serving them, then we're probably doing it for the wrong reasons. And so, and you hear coaches all the time, right? They're done. And I commend those coaches, man. Get out of it if you're not in it for the right reasons. I think, because there's a lot of people who do want to coach. So that's a long-winded answer. I'm sorry for getting a little long-winded.
No, I appreciate your opinion, because it matters. It matters to kids. It matters to parents. It matters to administrators, community people, who the head coach is, because that is a very important position, not just for the community, but also for a lot of young men. Because one good head coach will change your whole trajectory, in life. You talked about just your relationships with the people you have, and understanding that maybe if one of those guys had not been there because of pay, where would you be at now, or how would your career have changed? And so it's definitely an important topic, and I appreciate you dropping some gems about it. But man, I appreciate your time, man. We're definitely looking forward to spring and getting keeping an open line of communication with you. So this ain't the first time we're gonna be chatting with you.